Welcome to this HTML video about structural tags. In this video, we're trying to talk about all the things that help search engines understand our web content. Now, hopefully you already know that we need a doc type tag, an HTML opening and closing tag, a head section, and a body section in our web page. That's what every web page is required to have. Now, there's some other stuff that we can add that helps search engines understand our content so they can rank our content higher in the search results. And one of those is including the language that our web page is, the content is in. So we do that by this language tag, and there's a two-letter code for different languages. So if you're doing something else besides English, you can look up that two-letter code. This meta char set helps web browsers understand the encoding. But these tags right here, the header tag, the nav tag, the main tag, and the footer tag, are to separate our content into different areas on our web page. And to see an example of this, we're going to go to BYU Hawaii's web page. And up here, we have the header. Now, the header is usually at the top of a web page, and it includes the main entity that owns this web page. So in this case, BYU Hawaii. It also might include some of the navigation, or the navigation could be below it, but that's our main header tag. So in our header tag, we'll include this header, and we might include an H1 tag with the website title. And again, this is the main website title. Next, we'll go all the way down to the bottom of the page and talk about the footer, which is this area down here. Almost every web page has a footer. They include some social media links that might be of interest, usually links to find a job if you want to apply to this company, and a copyright notice as well. So that information goes in the footer. It's legally required. Some of it's legally required to be on the page, or some other links. But it's not what our page is really about. So we put that in the footer. So down here, we might put a copyright. Next, we have the navigation tag. Now, the navigation could go inside of the header if we want it to, or it can go below it. It could even go above it, but this is where our main site navigation goes. And up here on a BYU Hawaii's web page, we have these main navigation links up at the top. Now, these links should go to the same website. So for example, when I click About, if you notice, I'm getting the same header. If I scroll all the way down, then I get the same footer down at the bottom. So every page on the website should have the same header, the same navigation mostly, and the same footer. So inside of our navigation, we can put some links. Finally, we have the main tag. And the main tag is the main content of our page, or all of this content right here. And this changes based on what page we're visiting. So even though our header, our navigation, our footer are the same, the main content is what this page is specifically about. So aloha and welcome is what this page is about. And that's something that we might put inside of this main tag. So if we structure our web page like this, we really help Google and the other search engines understand what our content is about. It knows that this H1 tag contains the title of our entire website. And it also knows that this H1 tag is the title of the main content on this specific page inside of my website. It also knows that these links up here are to help navigate my site. And it knows that this content down here is in the footer and other links that might be of importance, but not something that we necessarily want to highlight on our page. So by using all of these tags, we help search engines understand our content much better. So from here on out in this class, every one of our web pages should include these tags. Unless, of course, if we don't have any navigation, we can leave that off. But we really want to help search engines understand our content by including these structural tags that divide our web page up into certain sections. Now, another thing that we need to make sure we do is we use correct HTML. For example, one error that we might happen to do is put the slash at the end instead of the beginning of this H1 closing tag. And it seems like a closing tag to us, but as you can tell, we've introduced some errors into this page because we see the red. Now, unfortunately, the errors don't show up where we committed the error, but now Google and our web browser has to guess what we mean by this tag right here. And unfortunately, it's going to guess that this is another opening H1 tag because it didn't see the slash in front of it. And since it thinks this is another opening H1 tag, it's going to think all of this down below might be included in this main website title. And when our main website title gets really long, then Google might ignore the fact that this is a title because we just have a lot of text that's our main title. So to help us pick out these errors, we can just search for HTML validator, and we get this validator service, and this is run by the W3 organization that helps us decide what HTML should be. Now you could copy and paste your URL up in this address section here, or we can validate by direct input here. And all we need to do is take all of our HTML content, copy it, paste it, and then click check. And this will check and it will show you what lines that have HTML errors on them. And you can see that it's saying line 9 has this error, and the message might not mean much to you, but hopefully you'll get used to these messages and figure out what they mean. But it means that this is another H1 tag, but we're already in an H1 tag, so we can't have another H1 tag inside of an H1 tag, is what that's saying. So hopefully that helps you find where you introduced your error so you can fix it. And then when we have other errors, but I recommend fixing the first error, then you can copy and paste your corrected code in the text box, check it again. And if you notice, all the other errors went away. So even though you might have a lot of errors, don't let that overwhelm you. Just focus on the first error, fix it, then check it again. And that will, hopefully, if you fix it, will reduce the number of errors that you have. Then when we don't have any errors or warnings, now we know that Google can correctly parse our web page and make sense out of it.